So, American Patriot back with another video. So, today I want to talk about Trump's first assassination attempt. Now, we are, what, a couple of months? We know nothing about it. We, the American people, are supposed to accept and believe that a 20-year-old kid with temper tantrums succeeded at doing what he did, which is almost kill our president. We're not supposed to ask any questions. The investigation ain't going anywhere, and no one's heard anything, right? So pretty much we already can see where this is going, and this is all just going to be swept under the rug right away without any second thought to it. So nothing happened the first time. So now all of a sudden, we're supposed to believe that that 20-year-old kid was smarter than the Secret Service, smarter than the FBI. That's how smart that kid was. Can you imagine that? We're supposed to believe that. Like no questions asked. That's just the way it is. Lone acting 20-year-old went by all local police, ladders, the whole gig, went up there, rifles, bags, the whole bit. Not a problem. Okay. So let's just go with that, because that's pretty much the explanation they have for that, right? So now, attempt number 2. We didn't say anything, right? We're still waiting for what happened on attempt 1. Here comes number 2. So now we have an individual that's hanging out exactly where he needs to be, right? Waiting for President Trump. Had enough time to set up bulletproof shields, the whole bit, sitting there just waiting. My question is, being that we ain't, FBI or anything like that, we're dumb people. We don't know anything. We don't have any sense, right? My question is, who told the guy to sit there and wait for that day? How did the guy know that Trump would be there that day to be golfing? How did he know that? We American people know that when it comes to the Secret Service, nobody ever knows when these presidents are going to roll through. Exactly the hour they're going to roll, they don't do that, because that's all top notch secrecy. No one's supposed to know that for this reason right here. But here's this guy, another average Joe, right? And I guess he just has these superpowers where he just knew exactly when and where to wait for this man. So now, what do you think is going to happen? You think they're going to do something about that? You think there's going to be some kind of investigation about that? Why should I believe that when in the first one nothing happened either? So it's safe to say that we as Americans are in big trouble when it comes to our government. They don't even feel the need to tell us anything, because that ain't our problem. It's like it's all about them. We the people are supposed to be silent and just deal with it, right? So now we have Mr. Johnson, Speaker of the House. Another one that came in talking tough that he's ready to do this, ready to do that, right? Got into the position, and here he is about to pass that bill without no problems, not including the part where people that vote need to be American citizens. That is the law, by the way. But I guess the law doesn't mean anything anymore in this country. And you would have to be out of your mind not to notice that. That part of the law is like gone. It's like whatever they say, never mind the law. And this is the reason why Democrats are constantly saying democracy. Because if it was republic, that means there would have to be a nation of laws, and they would have to follow the laws. And that's why they veer away from that part and just keep calling it democracy. There's your reason why. You know what's really scary about Americans nowadays? that even if you don't like Trump as the president, I get it, right? There's people I don't like, but I sure don't wish him death. And I wouldn't want to kill him just because I don't like you, right? But you got people, the peaceful people, the Democrats that are all about love and joy and unity and all of that stuff, making comments on social media, disappointed because the first assassin didn't succeed. But these are the people that want you and I to believe that we're the terrorists, that the conservatives are the bad people, the people that are practically disappointed that a president didn't get killed. At some point, I have to believe that what is being said is one thing, and what I'm seeing with my eyes is another. Who are the radicals? It's a good thing that we, the right, are not crazy, and that we don't go around rioting and things like that, because it'd be a whole different animal. But we, the people, are the bad people. The conservatives, we're the bad ones. We're the ones that need to get our guns taken from us, but they're the ones out there trying to assassinate a president. Huh? What do you think about that? I mean, is it really that, or am I just making things up? This is really happening, ain't it? Right in front of our face. So then, you got to ask yourself this. How legit is that election going to be, this upcoming election? How legit is it going to be? When basically, they haven't even given you an answer about an attempt of an assassination. But, according to the insurrection, FBI was all over that. They knew everyone, everybody, this, that, and the other, put everybody in jail right away, 1, 2, 3, not a problem. But when it comes down to assassinating the president, as long as it's a conservative president, they don't know nothing about that. They don't know anything. It's all just going to be kept quiet, swept under the rug. How many others? Now I'm hearing rumors on social media that there's hit squads all over the place in America. Right? So what does that tell me? These people don't want the blame, and they're already putting other excuses just in case, God forbid, something like that does happen. They don't want to be implemented. They don't ever want their names being put into this. But again, these are the same people that won't investigate and won't do anything about it. What about that? So now there's hit squads running around. The other rumor now is that Iran all of a sudden has that kind of authority. You know? And then we should be worried about terrorists causing a massive problem here in the United States. I didn't let those people in here. But the same government giving you warnings are the same ones that brought them in here and allowed them in here with their open border policies. So how can you be the problem and the solution at the same time? Right? Our world is losing it. Our world is out of control. And it's out of control big time. It ain't just a little thing anymore. This is getting real serious. To the point that the corruption's getting so bad that even murder's on the table. And assassinations because they don't like an individual. You know what? It don't matter how much you don't like that man. Somewhere along the line, you got to start asking the right questions to yourself. And the questions are, why is this man such a threat to the government? And the answer is simple. He's only a threat to the corrupt. He's only a threat to the corporations, and he's only a threat to the elitist. Nothing else. For us, he's great. For the nation, he's great. But everyone's allowed these people to brainwash them to believe whatever they say. They never second guess anything. They don't ask any questions. We the people can see all these things, but other people just ignore it. Look at this mainstream media thing. The mainstream media, even Fox is owned by the same people. So it's like a secure stock kind of situation, right? The same owners own all of them. So if NBC falls off, ABC falls off, CNN falls off, we'll just make an illusion that Fox is on the right side. So if I lose ratings on this side, I'll win the ratings on the other side. Same owner. And you want to, in the end, you want to see how they worked it out? Now you look at those polls that even Fox is putting up. Do you really believe that? There ain't no way in the world that anybody with any common sense would believe those polls. Even if I was a lefty and I hated Trump, I'd still be saying that's such a lie. Anybody can tell. Anybody knows that. And you know how we know that? Through social media. We could see the crowds. We see the gatherings, the differences between the two parties, what people are saying on the streets, the real people, not the media. The media got nothing to do with this. The media is just a puppet for the puppet masters, right? As usual. But that ain't got nothing to do with it. We're looking at the reality over video, and this is the reason why the mainstream media is so pissed off and calling everything misinformation. What is misinformation? What's the definition of that? Well, the definition of that is very simple. Misinformation means if it's anything against the agenda, if it's anything against the New World Order, if it's anything against the elitists, then it's misinformation. But if you're on their side, you can write whatever and do whatever. We're going to talk about social media for a second. And this is my personal experience with things. And I'm not going to bash anybody, but I'm going to tell you from my own experience what I've gone through. Now, when X came out and Elon Musk bought that X, I was all for it, right? His message to the world was, this is a conservative side, this is free speech, blah, 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 right? Okay. Now, before I got onto that premium or anything like that, I waited a while, almost a year, to see how it worked out and what I could say and what I couldn't say. So then finally I figured, okay, it's pretty good. You know, people are saying and people are attacking them. So usually if the right or the left is attacking the man, then that means he's doing the right thing, right? Because you could always tell by that. So I was on there the other day, and there was a video of Kamala Harris saying, with a stroke of a pen, I can put you in jail. With a stroke of a pen, I can set you free. And she was like bragging, you know, like, in other words, like threatening people, because that's basically what that is, just threatening the society. Like, we can do whatever with a pen, right? So I made a comment under that, and I commented, well, you should be concerned that by the Constitution, treason is a punishable offense, and you can get hung by that according to the law of the land, which is the Constitution. Whether the government wants to deal with that or not, it doesn't matter what they got to say, right? So I wrote that comment. Now, she threatened me by telling me how she could take my freedom with a stroke of a pen, right? I comment back without threat with the facts of the law. Right away, X knocks me off. 6-day suspension because their policy. So you see, here's the thing. Fact checkers are only checking the right side. If the left even puts a video on there, like the people that are on there saying things like, oh, it's too bad they missed, or videos of, all kind of violence against our president. Those people don't get checked. There's no fact check to that. But don't you, the right, say something back. So they have their little game, but they also have their favorites too. Now, I personally respect Elon Musk, honestly, and I can say that I like all the things he's done and everything else. And this could simply be an issue of him having so much going on, but his fact checkers are the bad apples, and he don't know that. So, regardless, I closed that account. I just canceled that subscription, and I'm done with that. The bottom line is, one way or the other, these people want to silence us no matter what. Either way, it doesn't matter which way it goes, which way it comes, it don't matter. Either way, they're looking to silence us all the time. And the one thing I want to say is, don't let nobody take your voice. And just like they talk, we can talk. And if they can talk and say whatever they want, so can we. That's the great thing about our country, and that's the true that's the freedom of speech. The true freedom of speech is right there. And as long as you're not threatening nobody and telling them that you're going to cause them harm or anything like that, you shouldn't be checked about anything. My opinions are my opinions. And that's the greatest thing about being an American. That Constitution is everything to America. Most people, all this left, they have no idea what the Constitution truly is, and how powerful that really is, and how great of a nation it made America. Regardless of their little arrogant and ignorant comments, it ain't gonna change the fact. The facts of what's truly happened here in America, and how great this country is, always has been. And it wasn't until they started with this whole deal that we ended up in the situation we're in. But here's my thing. If they push, we push harder. That's it. We're just responding. We're not starting anything. We're not looking for trouble. We're not making trouble. But if they push us 2 feet, we push back 3. But don't let them keep pushing us in the other direction. No. That's just not the way that you win something like this or gain ground in this situation. So I just want you to really think about these things, because these things are real problems that we're having right now, really true issues. And like I said, every time I see something like this happen, I can't help but to say to myself, how much of this government really is corrupt? How far does that really go? But we know who the puppet masters behind the scene are, and that's the elitists. We know that. Now there's JFK, trying to protect us from all this contaminated food and all this other stuff. He's on the right path. These people can only help us to be better off. This election right here is going to determine it all. It's going to determine everything. It's going to determine whether we end up in a world war. It's going to determine whether there will end up being a civil war here, whether it be a revolution. I don't know. I just know that when evil's at the helm, nothing good comes from that. That's what I know. And you know what, Americans? The other day I was looking at some videos and some old concerts and stuff like that, and people in the crowds with cigarette lighters, and swinging back and forth. And there was so much love in our country and our people. And we did everything we wanted, and we went to these concerts and we loved it, and we had a good time, and we functioned, we went to parks, this, that, we didn't worry about shootouts, this. The guns have always been. If the guns were the problem, they would have been the problem from day one. The guns are not the problem. It's the mental instability in our country. That's the problem. And the wackos that get their hands on guns has nothing to do with the gun itself. But you can't tell them that because that don't make any sense in their mind. So there's no point in talking to that or to them because they're just not going to register that. The program is too far instilled in their mind, right? So my thing about the looking at these things and looking at all these 80s videos and stuff like that and our generations and how wonderful we had it in life and children playing in the streets, not getting kidnapped and all that. And here these kids today, they have no idea what a true great life that was, simply because the media tells them differently. We have to, as Americans, strive to keep that life for our kids and for our new generations coming up and our grandchildren, so that they can also enjoy that kind of life and not the disaster that these brainwashed people are pushing toward. Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't even make any sense to the rest of the world. The rest of the world just laughing at us. They don't understand that, but we do. So, something that we need to think about. We need to stay strong, push forward, and not allow these people to walk all over us. We cannot let that happen. This election is huge. This is a real big deal. It's a big deal. And let me tell you, a lot of people talking tough out there. But when the thick gets thick, they ain't going to be talking like that. They are not going to be talking tough anymore. Like I said, all we the people want is to be left alone, to do our thing. It's all we want. But they just won't do it. Anyway, Americans, like always, it's a pleasure talking to you guys. Follow and subscribe, like my videos. Like I said, I'm just pushing forward to maintain our country free, to maintain our speech free, and to keep this country wonderful the way it's always been. God bless you, Patriots. God bless America.